Court will come to order. It is Tuesday, April the 9th, 2024. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, and the Kerr County Commissioners Court is now in session. Please stand for the prayer and pledge, which will be led by Commissioner Mason.
Please bow your head in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for all of the blessings you have bestowed upon us and for the beauty of the hill country and our community. We thank you for allowing us to witness the spectacle of your eclipse. You showed us how quickly light overcomes the dark, and we ask that you continue to pour your light on all darkness and reveal the truth in all matters. Grant us your wisdom and guide us in our decisions today on behalf of the people of Kerr County. Keep our first responders safe, protect our children, and please, Lord, send us more rain as much needed. In the mighty name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. First admonition is for everybody to turn their phone off and to vibrate so it doesn't interrupt the proceedings. And with that, the next item on our agenda is public input. This is an opportunity for folks to address the court. We ask them to limit your remarks to 3 minutes. And if what you want to talk to the court about is on the agenda, we request that you wait until that agenda item is called. Those are our local rules. So with that, do we have anybody that wants to address the court? Jim? Okay.
Excuse me, I didn't bring my
Podium.
I've never been here, I didn't bring my hearing aid. What do I have to do? Stand right here. Okay, thanks. Talk to the judge.
State your name and
Russell
your address.
Richter.
Okay.
I live in town here. I'm new to the area, 3 years, but yesterday I took some friends to Flat Rock Park just for a tour. And there were some folks in yellow jackets there trying to get $70 out of us to tour the park. And he says, "You're lucky, we were charging $100 earlier." And I says, "Well, I got friends here with a motorhome. We'll bring the motorhome, we're gonna charge you $400. It's a county park. Now, they were very polite, don't get me wrong. I said, "We just want to take a tour." Well, he says, "Make sure you come back out." And I says, "Well, do you have stickers or something for the cars that did pay?" He says, "No, everything's on our app." I said, "Will you give us a receipt?" He says, "No, it's on the app." So I'm very confused. You charge $70 to go to your beautiful park, and you don't provide no food, no band, no car show. I was just taken away. They did let us take the tour, but he says, "Make sure you come out." And I went back later, and there's maybe 5 cars in there, but the boat ramp, the cars were in there like sardines. You created a bigger problem when those cars tried to leave. That's my concern. Why did they want to charge that much money just to park a car in a county beautiful park? I go there otherwise at your car shows, Easter events. Thank you for listening. It's not a complaint, it's a concern. Beautiful county, beautiful city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Want to address the court? Okay, then we'll move on to Commissioner's comments. Precinct 1.
Totally enjoyed the eclipse in Precinct 1. We had enough opening of the skies to see a lot. Also, we've had several calls about one of the roads, Pikes Peak Road in Precinct 1 out near Upper Turtle Creek. We will have a meeting this week with Road and Bridge, come up with the best plan to fix that road, and I promise to get back to all those people, let them know what our plan is this week, so we're on it.
Precinct 2.
Nothing major from me for this meeting, except
I knew there was a but.
too good to be true, wasn't it? Really did, though. I do want to thank the sheriff and all of his staff, as well as KPD and KFD, for all of the preparation and efforts that went into getting ready for the eclipse. I also want to thank all of the VFDs. They didn't get paid, but they were out there all day yesterday, doing whatever they needed to do to try to help. Which fortunately they didn't really need to do much other than direct a little bit of traffic, particularly out you were way off 39. But I think overall it went really well. Maybe the turnout was a fair bit lower because of the weather, but nonetheless, just a big thank you to everybody who turned up for the eclipse yesterday. Road and Bridge too.
Yes. Precinct 3.
I think let's follow a little bit on that. It's all planning overall. I mean, city, county, fire department, everyone has been planning for several years for this. It was probably fewer people showed up than we expected, but it's much better to be prepared than unprepared. So I think all of that work was not for waste.
I agree with what you just said, and you know, you never know. You know, everybody's been asking us for a long time, how many people are coming? Well, heck, we don't know till they show up. And so I think both city and county both were prepared for whatever came their way. One thing I want to mention, I've got a photograph, an old photograph here that Scott Loveland from the city gave us. Came across it somewhere in a closet or whatever, and it's an old picture, probably in the 50s, and that vehicle says Precinct 4. It looks like an old fire engine or something. It's got hoses and light on top, and I made an extra copy that Haley was internet out there at the Hunt store so we could display it, and we're going to try to get hopefully some people come in and identify some of these folks, relatives or whatever, and find out who all these guys are. So just wanted to throw that out there. That's all I got.
The only comment I would make is if you did not have an opportunity to go over to the Operations Command Center over here, it was incredible. The city is the one that had that arranged, is that right, Doug?
Correct, yes, sir.
But if you didn't see the command center, it was very, very impressive. And I guess the good news, bad news. Bad news is not as many people came as we thought might come, or we were told would come. But the good news is we were grossly over-prepared, which was the way you want it to be. So, with that, we'll move on to the consideration agenda. Item 1.1, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to approve a proclamation designating May 2nd, 2024 as National Day of Prayer, and approve a request to use courthouse grounds for an event that day. I don't see Matt.
Judge, I'll move for approval of the proclamation.
I'll second that.
We've got a motion and a second to approve the National Day of Prayer for May 2nd here at the courthouse. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Moving on. Item 1.2, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to approve renewal of the Quadient Postage Equipment Lease Agreement between Texas 5 board rates. Ms. Lance.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. This is something we bring to the court every 5 years. Our lease agreement is renewed every 5 years. However, they've requested we renew it a little bit early in order to get the price where it doesn't have an increase. Currently, we're going to have a $16 a month increase with this new contract. However, we're going to be getting new equipment as well. So this postage meter that we do have is for my office as well as the district judges and Region 6. So those are everyone that uses this postage meter in my office. So I'm just asking the court to renew the contract. And Heather has reviewed the contract and advised it's good to go.
Okay.
I move for approval.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second to approve renewing the Quadient Postage Equipment Lease Agreement as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Item 1.3, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to approve a request to transfer a 2015 Chevrolet Tahoe Police SUV from the Animal Services Department to the Constable Precinct 3. Constable Gonzalez.
Hey, good morning, Your Honor, Commissioners. Real quick, I want to take this opportunity, if I could get the sheriff and Doug to please stand up, and let's give them a round of applause for all their hard work.
I don't think the camera saw y'all.
That's fine, they can hear us. Yes, sir. What I'm requesting is for your consideration in the transfer of the 2015 Chevrolet Police Tahoe SUV from the Animal Services Department to the Constable Precinct 3 office. The vehicle is still operational. It will not be a daily driver, but it will be a vehicle to be used as needed by the office, Constable Precinct 3. Here's a couple of things that I want to point out. I've got 2 reserve deputies assigned to my office, and having only one unit makes it very difficult to assign those deputies to all the assignments that I need them to do. So they have assisted my office on various occasions using their personal vehicles. But for safety and security reasons, for other assignments, I would need them to be in a marked unit. So having that additional marked unit not only increases the law enforcement presence within the community, but also visibility throughout the community. The other thing is, of course, as I mentioned, it'll expand services being provided, and then it'll also serve as a backup vehicle in the event that all of the constables within Kerr County need a vehicle due to their primary vehicle being out of service. We currently, all the constables have only one vehicle. Within the last 30 days, I've had to down my unit on 2 separate occasions, and on those 2 occasions, it was 2 days in a row. And so luckily I had this vehicle available, and so I was able to put it to use for those 2 days while the other vehicle was being repaired. So it'll be a force multiplier for not only the office, but to Kerr County, to the community, to have this additional vehicle. I'm not asking for the purchase of a new vehicle. It's just a transfer from one department to the other. Being transparent, there will be some, fuel expense and some, general maintenance expense, oil changes, stuff like that, but very minimal in comparison to me trying to ask for a new vehicle of any sort. So just want your consideration in this request.
I move for approval, and I have a question.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Question, Paul, is this the vehicle that the sheriff transferred to animal control when maybe I think Director Givens didn't have a vehicle?
Yes, sir, it is. While their vehicles were on order and on back order to assist animal services, the constables, the sheriff was able to transfer 2 vehicles to their department to assist them, and one of them has already been replaced, and this was the backup vehicle left behind.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Something else you mentioned, Paul, from time to time, a vehicle's gonna be in the shop for one thing or another. I remember we had one out precinct 4, the constable had a wreck, and the sheriff stepped up, had something that he could loan him for, several weeks or what have you. So we do have things that come up like that, and the sheriff's been able to accommodate us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Paul, do we have an estimated value on that vehicle?
No, sir, I do
Not
not.
traded in or something?
Yeah, sometimes it's more valuable for us to keep something
Well,
than
I'm
trade
not
it in
disagreeing
for
with
what
that.
we can get here.
Yes, sir.
In the interest of transparency.
I would say no.
If it's 15,
Yeah, about 15,000, I think,
10, 15,000.
for that year model with equipment.
Any further discussion? Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Paul. 1.4, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to approve the intergovernmental agreements with the City of Ingram, Kerrville Independent School District, Kerrville Public Utility Board, and the Upper Guadalupe River Authority for the Hazard Mitigation Action Plan. Judge Thomas.
Morning, Judge, morning, Commissioners. So what you have before you are the agreements between 5 of the 6 participants in the Hazard Mitigation Plan. Basically, those interlocal agreements outline the other participants' responsibilities under the plan, under the agreement to participate in the plan, and in payment for those services.
Move for approval.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you.
Judge.
1.5, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to approve an application and resolution for Operation Stone Dark. Scott Gage.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners.
application, the grant 489930 for Operation Stone Guard, which is the campaign from Val Verde County. If you remember from last year, we fell under the campaign for Sutton County. They moved us this year for Val Verde County. The reason for that is just initial county, they write the campaign, and then the friendly forces are attached to that. It just has to do with placement of money. So we moved to Val Verde because we would get a higher award if we moved to Val Verde County. So estimated award on this would be about $162,000. Primary, it's going to go to overtime for the Stone Guard project, and then equipment is probably around $76,000, and then some maintenance and some vehicle operating costs as well. Once with the resolution, and the judge will certify that and go forth. And I expect the award should be pretty quick, probably hopefully by the next commissioner's court, because the governor's office was really pushing us to get this going, because they're looking to send out the award.
I move for approval.
And I'll second. Got a motion and a second to approve the Operation Stone Garden application and resolution as presented. You need to.
Yeah, one question, Scott. You mentioned two different numbers. Is the total value of the award $162,000?
Yes, yeah, 162, 465, right, approximate numbers gonna be right there.
Okay.
Yeah, just kind of a breakdown. It's about 77,000 in overtime, equipment about 76,000, and then about 1,500 in maintenance, and about 6,100 in operating costs for vehicles. So we're projected. We're kind of working with next year for Stone Garden. We're actually going to move to the campaign under Kimball County. Kimball County will be the primary on that. They've added a bunch of other agencies into the Kimball County campaign, so they'll move us under Kimball County, which is a little closer than Val Verde County. So, but we don't know what the projected amount would be for that.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. Item 1.6, consider discuss and take appropriate action to approve donating to the Civil Air Patrol TX-442 Squadron Commander Thomas King 4 radios, 2 chargers that have no value and cannot serve the Kerr County Sheriff's Office mission in protecting the public anymore. Sheriff.
Yes, I'm just looking for the court's approval to be able to donate that to the Civil Air Patrol. What it is, we're just trying to clean up and get rid of a lot of old stuff. Sergeant Piper was able to find that at the courthouse. I have no idea. It's probably over 20 years old. It's not even compatible with our current system, much less our new system. So that gives you an idea. So I know they said they can use it. It's really no value. It's been sitting. Who knows? It just happened. I've told everybody, let's identify stuff we don't use anymore and get rid of it. So they can use it. So that'd be a good idea to give it to them.
I'll move to approve the donation of this equipment to the Civil Air Patrol.
Got a motion and a second. And just so the public knows, we actually had Civil Air Patrol in the air yesterday.
Yes, we did.
Reporting on the traffic situation.
A lot of help. Yes.
Question,
Yes, sir.
probably to the county attorney. Does this have to be surplus first, or is this, are they considered a governmental agency that we can just transfer it to?
We can do it with an agreement. Y'all can approve it today, and then I'll need to draft something up that they accept it as is, and I can do it quickly.
Okay. We'll wait until we get that done.
Okay, with that, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Item 1.7, update regarding issues related to the Comfort Radio Tower. Sheriff.
This one ain't gonna be that easy, Judge.
Somebody said it was going to be.
Right, this was pretty tough. Had a meeting, emergency meeting, right after the last court date with Commissioner Paces, because Commissioner Paces is the liaison on this project, also the liaison for the volunteer fire departments. So right after the last meeting, I kind of halted it all right now, stopped the project. What's going on is we were contacted by West Texas Wireless. This is our Comfort Tower. It's very important. And we were notified that they are going to be turning in that lease and taking down that tower. Just want everybody to know, we did not know that a year or two ago. So obviously there's two trains of thought, and I really need some input. We're not going to be able to sign anything today because I don't have a lot. I'll tell you what I do have is that our lease is up March of 2025. Okay, 1 year or less than a year. Their lease is up December 2026. 26. And that's when they're taking the tower down. They'll probably take it down before that. We're 3 months from being live. Obviously, every week I hold it. That's just adding on. So, but I have to hold it until I get some direction from y'all. And like I said, I can't give you a whole lot today, but what I can tell you is we have asked Motorola to give us an update where they're at, how much we spent on that site. Because if we decide to move forward, you know, we're 3 to 4 months out, you know, we're 6 months or less than being out off the contract. Which, do we just keep going and investing, or do we look for something else? And none of this is easy. It all takes a lot of time. We've been working for 2 weeks on getting some answers. I'll give you an example, American Tower. And the thing is, we have to stay in that general area, the comfort area. And there's a lot of towers there. American Tower is one of them. I had project manager Windling look into them. We currently pay $5,800 a year to West Texas Wireless. One of the quotes cost about $2,000 to $5,000 to get started, and it was $4,800 a month. You kind of told me they were crazy. You know what I mean? That's just too high. So basically, we're looking at options. The one option I really want to work out that we're working on currently is we're working with West Texas Wireless. They've been real good. You remember, they sold out to Verizon, so they don't need the tower. They're just leased until then. They're going to take it down. That is their tower. They're going to take it down, so we really don't have an option. We're really trying to negotiate with them, and they've been really good to let us stay, because we pay them, so they can approve it. Let us stay till December 2026. I think that's the best thing, because we're 3 months from being live. Of course, they got to say yes. And then pretty much I got to immediately start looking for a tower now. I mean, you know what I mean? Because all that takes a while. The worst news is Motorola said if I hold it and don't go and finish it, we're probably a year and a half out. Finding another location, getting all the permits, getting the engineering done and stuff. So we're a year and a half. So it's kind of a no-win, rock in a hard spot. The best thing I think is for West Texas Wireless, and we're working really hard on them, telling us you can stay, gives us a little bit of time to start looking, but we will have to move. Those costs, I'm trying to do my best to get those costs. There are a lot of unknown costs. What is the tower rent? That one was come in at $4,800. You know, you have to do some studies. They have to do some tower studies to see what kind of weight. We've got a building that's got to be put out there. So like I said, we kind of got hit unknown.
Where is this particular?
It's up by the Loves.
By the Love?
Yeah, by the Love Charge. It's currently there. And there's a lot of towers there, but it does, you know, I tell people it doesn't matter if it's 1 mile or 100 miles, that the cost, you know, to go move all that. And you know, we're 3 months from being live. But now, obviously, I'll hold it up probably 2 more weeks, and you know, I'll have to give you an update in 2 weeks. I really wanted answers, but and they just don't respond back to you real quick. You know, they got to go through their upper management. But I just want y'all to be advised. I'll be here every court date letting you know. I think the way to go, if they'll let us stay, Commissioner Pace said, that's the way, and then we just start looking for another tower. You know, I know budget season's coming up, you know, and I got to get some figures. You know, at least we can get by about a year and start planning for something else. But I just really want y'all to know that's kind of where we're at on it. I'll be happy to answer any questions or get you some answers. You know, it's not nothing good. Good judge.
I want to make sure I understand the situation. Who owns the tower?
A man in comfort.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have his name. Who has?
The individual owns it.
Yes, sir.
And West Texas Wireless operates it?
I don't think that's right. He owns the land, right, where the tower is? He
I'm
doesn't
sorry.
actually
He
own
owns the
tower.
land. Yeah, yes, you're right. He owns the land that the tower is on. West Texas Wireless owns the tower.
Yeah.
And they lease the land for placement of the tower?
Correct.
And that's
Till
the
this-
state.
Till
And that's
December
the
of
lease that expires
2026.
in December of 2026.
They could take it down now. Well, we not really, because we're in a lease till March. They could take it down in April.
And so they're taking it down because of non-use?
They sold to Verizon. They don't need it. Remember, West Texas Wireless sold. So and they're in the lease. That's the only reason they've left it there, because we do have it until March, and we're trying to get them. Really doesn't hurt them to leave it there.
What I'm trying to understand. Why won't they just leave it there?
They're leasing it from the guy. You know, I've heard different figures. I don't know what they're paying the landowner, but why lease it? It's
They have
empty.
another tower they're using.
Yeah, correct.
Verizon already has a tower.
Yeah. Sorry, Verizon.
Well,
So it's of no use to them.
I wondered what his problem is.
I think I know the landowners down, we don't want that out.
I mean, they kind of offered it, but we don't want to get in the tire business.
The best outcome is that we extend this lease ideally to December 2026.
Yeah, that is the perfect.
Have more flexibility to
Yes.
find another option, which we don't.
We have to talk them into doing that.
Yes, otherwise we do have till March of 2025 under our lease.
But
So we have some time.
we do, but so the court knows why, if we have to be out in March, why, I mean, we've already, like Motorola's made it clear to me, hey, this is above and beyond you, you've already paid.
Yeah.
You know, we're ready, but why invest if I'm only gonna be there 6 months? It'd take me that long to find another place. You know, why finish it? But, I mean, it's a tough decision.
Gotcha.
Sorry,
Anything
guys.
else?
We're working
I do
hard.
think it's important that we go live with the new radio system, so it's the best option to do that without having huge lawsuits.
If the court tells me that's what you want,
I'm sorry.
that's what we'll do. I just, you know, it's a tough deal.
Well, keep us in the loop.
Okay, yeah, I'll have a better one in 2 weeks, and maybe we can decide and finish. Thanks.
Let's move on to item 1.8. Consider, discuss, take appropriate action to appoint a member of Commissioners Court or designated person to perform an investigation under section 751.005 of the Texas Health and Safety Code for the purpose of determining if the minimum standards for ensuring public safety and order as prescribed by law will be maintained under the application for permit for the Kerrville Folk Festival being held from May 23, 2024 through June 9 of 2024. Hearing on the mass gathering permit has been set for April the 22nd at 8:30 a.m. Which will be in the Commissioners Courtroom.
Since I've already met the executive director, I will meet her again on April the 22nd at 8:30.
Thank you.
Excellent volunteer.
That's really good.
I'll make that quick.
Otherwise, I was going to suggest that we give Commissioner Letts an opportunity to do one more of these.
She and I had a lovely conversation, we'll just continue it. Yeah.
I'll make a motion to appoint Commissioner Overby.
I've got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Get that in the rear view mirror.
1.9, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action regarding the jail commissary and inmate trust internal audit report. Ms. Shelton.
Yes, the auditor's office conducted an audit of the jail commissary and inmate trust accounts for the year ended 9/30/2023. We also issued a report to the sheriff. Based on the testing procedures performed, expenditures and revenues were supported by adequate documentation, and purchases were made in accordance with local government code, section 351.0415. As required, upon the court's acceptance of the report will be sent to the Texas Commission on Jail Standards. This is an annual occurrence.
This is the kind of report that we'd like to get.
I move for approval.
I'll second.
I've got a motion and a second to approve the audit as presented. Any conversation? In favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Item 1.10, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action regarding the disaster declaration for the April 8, 2024 solar eclipse that was extended to April 11, 2024. This is if needed, and the recommendation now is that we go ahead and discontinue the disaster declaration. But we did have in place had we needed it, which was important.
Make a motion.
Go ahead, you make a motion.
I make a motion that we discontinue the disaster declaration effective immediately.
All second.
Got a motion and a second to discontinue the disaster declaration.
My question is whether that discontinues the burn ban and the dig ban that
Yes.
technically are until tomorrow noon. Right now, that's what's out there. So by eliminating this, we're lifting the burn ban immediately, right?
I would think so, yes.
Yes.
I don't mind wrapping that up into this.
Well, that's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
clarify.
Those only, the power to do that only came from the declaration of the disaster. So by discontinuing the disaster, those are then discontinued as well.
Good
Good
point.
deal.
Clarify and confirm.
Good point.
Again, good prevention.
Yeah.
Okay, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Okay, we've got a timed item at 9:45.
Oh, we're not cruising, it's not down
We
here.
have an addendum.
Oh, excuse me.
I can't take it before 9:45.
Really?
Darn.
That's the law.
Okay, I'll read this very slowly.
No,
No,
you can't.
can't.
we gotta wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we don't have any other items.
Yes, we do. Addendum.
There's an addendum.
Okay, go to item 1.14 on the addendum. Okay. And that's, consider, discuss, take appropriate action regarding required upgrades to the fire panel in the courthouse.
Good morning, gentlemen. Well, how this all came about is when we had our little fire in the Indy Treasurer's office, a lot of smoke. The smoke detector didn't sound off like it was supposed to. Got that repaired. But there was a request made to have an audit, a strobe put in the treasurer's office, which is within code because there's more than 2 people in that office, which is legitimate. So we're just going to do the upgrade. So when we had to pull the permits, or not we, the fire alarm company pulled the permits to get that, the fire marshal made it a stipulation that, and you'll see the additional information, is that all strobes must remain on when the panel is silenced. The strobes are not staying on when it goes from a fire alarm and you silence the panel. It's not up to code and we have to change that. Part of the reasoning is when back in 2016, the fire panel was upgraded, got new smoke detectors, but what remained was a bunch of pull stations, audio visuals, and strobes that were different manufacturers. For whatever reason, it's not communicating to the panel like it should. So when you do take it off of alarm, the horns, the strobes, the lights are supposed to stay on and start blinking until the panel is clear. It's not doing that. The manufacturer suggested that it's because of all the different pull stations, different horns and strobes. So I have to get this up to code. Since it's already now it's brought up to light, I have to get it up to code, which is going to be the maximum of $14,000. I have that in my budget at the moment, but come September, I'm not going to have that. So either I pay for it now, or we do big budget adjustments later. So kind of where I'm going with this is like, do I go ahead and pay for it out of my budget, or do we do another way, or contingency or something?
Is that going to exhaust your budget?
It won't exhaust it, but I will.
Could get tight this summer.
Yeah, it's going to be. I'm not going to make it to October 1st. Put it that way. So.
I would rather take this out of contingency because one thing we don't need to do is defer things because we don't have money in the budget to make it.
It'll just go up.
Do we have money in contingency to cover it?
That's based on, we should have about 300-some thousand contingency based on the budget
Yeah.
amendment we're doing today.
You might consider having him talk with Grant Works and to see if this would be covered under ARPA, since it would be for safety, and then it wouldn't affect the
Okay.
general.
That's a good point.
That's good. So, I guess get with Noel, get with Noel about if Grant Works will approve it, and if not, we can do a budget.
Check it out. Okay.
So
That might
do we
be-
approve anything
Yeah,
today?
you want to table it for now or pass on it today?
Well, he needs to probably get moving on it, so.
Yes.
I
I mean,
will-
because the permit is already pulled, and we're kind of waiting on what we're gonna do here today, how we're gonna handle it.
With, I'm going to audit for this, I mean, can we proceed and then at the same time check with Grant Works?
Well,
I mean,
sure. If we make the motion that we go ahead with the work
Yeah.
and either charge it to contingency or the ARPA funds, depending on
Right,
availability
gotcha.
or whatever.
Sure.
We'll need to come back with the
Leave that
budget
flexibility.
amendment for either, I would think, but y'all go ahead and can say that it's used, because there's many
Agree, we
entities.
should go ahead and start going.
yeah.
We'll
Moving on
switch
it.
it to his budget.
So I'll make a motion that we proceed with the required upgrades to the fire panel in the courthouse with funding to come from either the contingency budget or from remaining ARPA funds, depending on availability and approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the fire panel upgrades as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay.
And then we don't need the 950, or do you have to take the 950?
Actually, the next
next items at 10.
You can do the approval agenda.
Pay bills.
Approval of pay bills.
Actually, yeah, we can pay bills and all
There we
that.
go.
We'll move over to the approval agenda 2.1, budget amendments.
Yes, you have 5 budget amendments in front of you. The biggest one of these is just to reclass where the longevity pay is budgeted into the individual departments. There are requests from the contingency fund in this. The largest is because of our cost of the court-appointed attorneys right now.
The question I have is, this is the longevity, the payments that were made in December?
Yes.
Those longevity payments, okay.
Yeah, it's budgeted in one line item because we don't know at budget time who all is going to receive it.
Right.
And so this is just reclassing it out of the one line, non-departmental, into the individual budgets.
I move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the budget amendments as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. 2.2, pay bills.
Yes, invoices for today's consideration, $985,617.63.
I move for approval.
I'll second, but I have a question.
Okay. Got a motion and a second.
The question is, and to the district clerk, I think she knew I was going to ask this question. I thought it was interesting. I noticed a whole bunch of items listed as restitution that I'd never noticed before. And my question was as to why these are in our, now appearing in our bills.
You can thank your legislature for that. So we collect money from inmates from TDC. Restitution used to be sent out from TDC. Now they pushed it back to the district clerks. So I'm a clearinghouse now for TDC restitution payments. So this past month, or within the past month and a half, I've received $25,000 from TDC to get these payments made. So now I have to research to see where these people are. Takes time with the collections department, so another lovely duty that we get to do for free. So that's basically where it's at.
And it's just, it's an unfunded mandate, and it's another one of those things that it takes a lot of time. I mean, I saw all those things, and I was looking at some of the people that caught my eye, I said, who was getting it? I said, why are these people getting restitution? So I explained it, so I thought that was interesting.
But we still have a motion and a second to approve the bills as presented.
Yes.
Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Late bills
There are not any?
and auditor reports.
There are not any.
Thank you. Monthly reports.
Yes, for February 2024, Veteran Service Office, DSO Jennifer Sanchez, Treasurer's Office, County Treasurer Tracy Sullivan, Constable Tommy Rodriguez, Precinct 1. For March 2024, Justice of the Peace, Judge Mitzi French, Precinct 1, Judge Kathy Mitchell, Precinct 3, Constable Tommy Rodriguez, Precinct 1, Kyle Snyder, Precinct 2, Paul Gonzalez, Precinct 3, Brad Ryder, Precinct 4, District Clerk's Office, District Clerk Dawn Lance, Payroll Report, County Treasurer Tracy Sullivan, Environmental Health Director Ashley Batters, and Auditor's Office, Auditor Tammy Shelton. I move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the monthly reports as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Court orders.
Court orders from our March 25th meeting, 40549 through 40577. I handed that here, the rewording that Mr. Pace has worked on 40577 to really clarify and make that real clear what we did on that with the era. But with that one modification, as Mr. Pace has noted, I move for approval.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the court orders as presented with the revisions made by Commissioner Paces. Any other discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Information agenda. We're just whizzing along here. 3.1, Status reports from department heads. Any department heads? Okay, being none, we'll move on to 3.2, status reports from elected officials. Kerr?
Judge, I know that Dub's going to be doing a presentation, I believe, for the Eclipse, more from the emergency management part and the EOC, Emergency Operations Center. He was stationed there. I was in the field with the deputies. Just kind of a quick update. I think it went pretty good. You know, we kind of kicked it off Thursday, rather slow Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and Monday we had every badge. Everybody was out. Went really good. As far as yesterday was our only pause. We answered a lot of calls, nothing major, but traffic backed up was at 27 and 39. Goat Creek Road, Goat Creek Cutoff, Goat Creek and I-10, and then 480 and River Road had a little backup. It took us about 3 hours to the minute to get everybody out of town. But I'm happy to say over that whole ordeal, we only had 2 minor accidents. One we worked and one DPS worked, nothing major. So it went over. I know we did a lot of planning. I tell people, like I think Jonathan said, you got to plan for the worst and pray for the best, and luckily we got the best. So it went really smooth, no vehicles damaged, nobody injured. It was a good operation, and I got to take my hat off to the city. Very well planned. Chief of Police and the fire chief did a very good job. We went to briefings every day, and I think they just did a good job, the city. And that's it.
And one of the things I was most impressed with was the collaboration between all the different stakeholders.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Everybody cooperated.
Yeah, our first meeting, I mean, there was a lot of people there on Thursday, but the city did a really good job. You know, you can't control who comes or not. I know there was a lot of people. I haven't heard any final counts. The city was busy.
And again, if y'all haven't been to the command center over there behind the Presbyterian Church,
It is impressive.
it's impressive.
We just got to find a grant, Judge, for one of those. I believe it's about $1 million, is what I was told for that unit. It's nice.
Okay. Any other elected officials? Okay, we'll finish up here with the information agenda at 3.3, status reports from liaison commissioners. Reports?
The only thing I'll have to report is that we're working with UGRA on a grant from UGRA for the rainwater harvesting system at the new animal control facility. We had a meeting about that, and I talked to Noelle this morning to get ready to hand her a packet of paperwork. Something that UGRA is interested in doing. So we need to go through the application, and it'll be a good project for them and for us. That is a lot of money.
Good. Okay.
Yes, sir. Let me throw something out there. Next Monday, our Senator Peter Forwards will be in town. He's acquired 100 laptops from, I believe, AT&T for the Hill Country Youth Ranch. And that's a pretty neat deal. So they can sure enough use them out there. Just want to throw that out there.
Okay. We're as close as we're going to get, Colonel Marsh.
Okay.
I'm sorry to keep you waiting.
No problem. I just didn't realize it was so inflexible. Well, good morning, Judge, Commissioners. I'm Vicki Marsh, Colonel, U.S. Marine Corps retired. I live at 144 Tall Timber Road in the county. I'm in Precinct 2. And I am here today because I also serve as President of the Hill Country Veterans Council, which is a group, sounds more grand than it is, but we maintain a very close relationship with the Kerrville VA Medical Center and meet with them monthly to maintain that they have appropriate staffing and services. And I'm also, as you know, Vice President of the Veterans Services Advisory Committee appointed by the county. And my purpose today is to seek your approval on a proclamation to honor the Kerrville VA Medical Center on its 100th, its centennial celebration, coming this Friday, April 12th, starting about noon. Kerrville VA Medical Center Centennial Day Proclamation. Whereas Kerrville VA Medical Center's history began at the end of World War I in 1918, when discharged veterans suffering from diseases, notably tuberculosis, returned to Texas. TB was a deadly bacterial infection spread through the air. Then there was no cure. Treatment was a dry climate, complete bed rest for long periods, nutritious food, and isolation. TB was prevalent until researchers found antibacterial medicines in the 1940s and 50s. And whereas in 1919, some Kerr County citizens, helped by 2 state agencies and the American Legion State Commander, together raised $500,000 to build a hospital for sick veterans. And whereas Kerr County advocates and the American Legion Department of Texas clung to the idea of a veterans hospital, a close-run thing for the next 4 years. And whereas in 1920, Kerrville Schreiner Brothers gave 790 acres, including property fronting the Guadalupe River, a suitable setting for sick veterans. Building the American Legion Tuberculosis Hospital began that year, yet funds were defunct before construction was completed, and the project was sold for $1 in January 1921 to the American Legion Department of Texas. And whereas this project nearly ended but for the American Legion, the Daughters of the Confederacy, and State Senator Julius Real, who in exchange for the deed of the project to the state, persuaded the Texas legislature to appropriate $1.5 million to finish building the 600-bed hospital to be known as the American Legion Memorial Hospital. And whereas a group of Texans arranged for U.S. Veterans Bureau to lease the hospital, and in May 1923, the completed facility with 15 buildings was leased by the Veterans Bureau from the state agency. And on July 1st, 1923, the Veterans Bureau opened the hospital to its first patients. And whereas in December 1925, the Veterans Bureau bought this facility from the state for $1,182,000. In July 1930, the Veterans Administration was created by President Hoover, and then the VA operated the facility. And whereas the present medical center stands on 70 acres, including 1.7 acres for a VA National Cemetery, which is generally closed for new burials because of our proximity to the National Cemetery at Fort Sam Houston. And they have sufficient space for the next several decades. And whereas in December 1947, the dedication ceremonies were held for the main hospital building, which is still in use. This is due to KVAMC's engineering department, which maintains the 77 years old building, and to its environmental management service for the superbly kept grounds to benefit all. And whereas in 1995, KVAMC and the Audie L. Murphy Memorial Hospital in San Antonio merged to form the South Texas Veterans Healthcare System, along with 15 community-based outpatient clinics, mostly in San Antonio. That merger resulted from a major shift in healthcare delivery, given that experience had proven that veterans thrive by remaining in their communities rather than having hospital stays. So the VA restructured assets from Kerrville VA Medical Center to form these community clinics. And whereas KVAMC consists of outpatient clinics with 7 primary care teams, it also provides 40 different types of services via several resident specialty care clinics, for example, audiology, ophthalmology, urology, geriatrics, radiology, mental health, a laboratory, and pharmacy. Other specialty care clinicians from the Audie campus visit monthly for a day or two. Finally, KVAMC is proud of its state-rated 5-star community living center. And whereas few recall that early on the VA was a generous neighbor, it donated 86% of the original 790 acres tract. 500 acres went to the Texas Lions League for the Crippled Children's Home, 116 acres for the Texas Hill Country Development Foundation, 72 acres to the Kerrville Independent School District, and the remainder for other local transactions. And whereas in conclusion, a VA historian recently affirmed that KVAMC has bragging rights as the oldest continuously operated veterans medical facility in Texas. It dates back to July 1923, when a public health service hospital in Houston closed and its patients came here. Now therefore be it resolved that the Kerr County Commissioners Court does hereby proclaim April 12, 2024 as the Kerrville VA Medical Center Centennial Day, and thank the citizenry, the elected governmental officials, for their steadfast support of KVAMC, and express gratitude on behalf of area veterans to all KVAMC employees for sustaining quality health care to veterans for over 100 years. and recognize KVAMC for generously donating 86% of prime acreage for use by some neighbors for deserving causes. Adopted this 9th day of April 2024, the Honorable Rob Kelly, County Judge, and then there's spaces for each of the commissioners to sign, if you approve it.
I make a motion that we approve agenda item 111.
We have a motion and a second to approve the proclamation as presented by Colonel Marsh. Any discussion?
Great history.
I will say, when approached about presenting this proclamation at the ceremony this coming Friday, I agree. I volunteered to read the proclamation. That was before I read the proclamation.
I'm your backup.
No,
She did a beautiful job.
You did. I agreed to do it, and I'll do it. This is the, not the briefest one I've ever done.
I'm sure, I'm sure. Well, that's the story
Very
of,
comprehensive.
that's the story of the Kerrville VA, so.
That's awesome.
And
It's a great story.
Preserved for history. Yeah. So those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you, Ms. Marsh. Colonel Marsh. Rick, let's take a 5-minute break and let's come back at 10 o'clock.
Yep.
10 minutes. Timed items starting at 10 o'clock and 1.12, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to approve the settlement agreement between Kerr County, Texas and D. Guerra Construction LLC for the East Kerr County Center Point Wastewater Collection Project and contracts known as Center Point Wastewater Collection System Phase 2, TWDB Project Number 10366, CID-02, and Center Point Wastewater Collection System Phase 3, TWDB 10366, CID-03. Mr. Hastings.
Thank you, Judge. We had some meetings with D. Kerr, I believe the judge and Commissioner Paces were there, and reached a settlement agreement. And I think the one you have before you has been through the county attorney's office. I've looked at it. Tetra Tech has looked at it to make sure that the numbers are all correct. They are. It's what we agreed to in the meeting. And effectively, Kerr County would be withholding $530,000 in liquidated damages.
And you're asking us for full court to approve?
Yes, sir.
The question on this one was just do we need a statement in there to make sure that this doesn't supersede or avoid any of the warranty provisions of both of these contracts?
If you would like me to add a statement in there to do that, I'm glad to. There is no language that tends to.
I just wouldn't want it to be implied that this is a final settlement and somehow relieves them of their other obligations under the contract.
Okay.
The agreement that Heather, what you put together, had a statement in there that said, don't forget, there's a 2-year warranty, not a 1 year, but a 2-year warranty. And that item is still, that is explicitly written in there to allay that concern.
Good. That's in here right now?
Yeah.
Look in the.
Is that
we'll
E?
find it.
Is it E? No, that's not it.
It may be in one of the first paragraphs.
Is
Let
it?
me.
It's,
But I thought that was related to the.
can I see what you're looking at?
They're gone.
I don't know if it's E or not. I can't tell.
That's E.
It is?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it's sort of there. I'm just accustomed to seeing statements that, all other terms and conditions of the contract survive this agreement. And it could be as simple as that, but.
Would you, if you'd like me to add that in there, I'd be glad to.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good.
Okay. So you can approve it with that change today, or?
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve this settlement agreement with that change.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the settlement agreement as presented with that language provision included. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. And I might just point out that D. Guerra really did extend themselves to help get this project finished for us. So we're appreciative of that. Moving on to the next agenda item, which is timed at 10 o'clock, is 1.13. Consider, discuss, take appropriate action to set a public hearing for April 22, 2024 at 10 a.m. for the removal of an existing cattle guard located at 595 Indian Creek Road, subject to said cattle guard being replaced with a new one located at 675 Indian Creek Road. Ms. Hastings.
Thank you, Judge. At the December 27th, 2023 court meeting, the court authorized the removal by the Road and Bridge Department of an existing cattle guard located near 595 Indian Creek Road, with the understanding it would be replaced by the adjacent property owners with a new cattle guard approximately 0.2 of a mile west near 675 Indian Creek Road. The process to remove the cattle guard is outlined in the Texas Transportation Code, section 251.0096, which states, the Commissioner's Court of a county may remove the cattle guard from a county road of any class if the Commissioner's Court notifies each person who owns land adjacent to the cattle guard by certified mail not less than 90 days before the proposed removal of the cattle guard. And then that was A. And B, the Commissioner's Court is not required to hold a public hearing on proposed cattle guard removal. If a resident of the county requests a public hearing, the Commissioner's Court shall hold a public hearing on the removal of the cattle guard. To be valid, a request for a public hearing must be in writing and be made before the 75th day after the date the notice required by subsection A is mailed. Notification by certified mail was sent to each person who owns land adjacent to the subject cattle guard proposed to be removed. And we went a little step further, including persons owning land beyond said cattle guard who must travel over it to get to their property. The date of the certified mailings was January 11th, 2024. The 75th date thereafter was March 26, 2024, and to the best knowledge of the County Engineering Department, there have been no requests from residents of Kerr County for a public hearing. And the 90th day following the certified mailings is April the 10th, 2024, tomorrow. However, out of an abundance of caution and respect for the community, despite the fact the court is not required to hold a public hearing, the county engineer respectfully requests that the court set a public hearing for April 22nd, 2024 at 10 a.m. for the removal of an existing cattle guard located near 595 Indian Creek Road, subject to said cattle guard being replaced with a new one located near 675 Indian Creek Road. It's in Precinct 4.
And that was 10 a.m., right?
Yes, sir, for 10 a.m., April 22nd.
I move for approval.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the public hearing set for April 22, 2024 at 10 a.m. Regarding the removal of this cattle guard as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Carries. Okay, with that, we're going to go into executive session where we will be consulting with our attorney and also discuss a personnel matter of 4.2A, which is to consider, discuss, take appropriate action to authorize paid time off from the start date of offer life and supplemental insurance for a temporary employee in the Veteran Services Office as originally intended. So with that, we will recess and convene in closed session. It is 10:18, come out of the executive session, and we're going to consider item 4.2A, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to authorize paid time off from the start date and offer life and supplemental insurance to temporary employee, that's a temporary full-time employee in the Veteran Services Office as originally intended.
I'll make a motion to authorize paid time off from start date and offer life and supplemental insurance to full-time temporary employee in the Veteran Service Office as originally intended.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. There being no other business, we are adjourned.